Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Chantel and today I am going to belatedly continue my Spooktober video series. I apologize for the lack of video this past week. I got busy, could not find motivation, and so it just didn't happen. So now I am back, I am here, and I'm going to talk to you finally about Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. So, yeah, I finally watched Robert Eggers' Nosferatu remake from last year, and I have thoughts, and so I'm going to share them. And hopefully, if you have thoughts, you can share them with me, and we can all share our thoughts and talk about this film. I want to preface this by saying that as someone who is particularly interested in the art and craft of adaptation specifically, I am very cognizant of the fact that remaking something like Nosferatu is daunting. There's a lot of expectations with something like this, particularly when the source material is already so culturally iconic and has imprinted itself on all of our sort of mind's eyes, right? I think it's safe to say that even if you haven't seen the original 1922 Nosferatu directed by F.W. Murnau, you've probably seen images from it because they are deeply embedded in the cultural zeitgeist. And that is a very daunting challenge, I think, for anybody who is looking to refresh this story. And it's not just the two previous versions of Nosferatu, but of course there's also an understanding that this is an adaptation of Dracula, and of course Dracula is one of the most adapted pieces of fiction in world literature, right? It's almost nothing has been adapted more than Dracula, and so you have all of this iconography to contend with, and I think there's a few things going on, right? You are both beholden to what's come before as you're remaking and you're readapting something that has been brought to the screens in so many times and in so many different ways. And you're also under a lot of pressure to bring something new to that, right? So you have to do both in a way. You have to be able to pay homage to what's gone before because everyone's going to be expecting you to do that, but you also have to be able to bring something new because otherwise what's the point, right? What's the point unless you want to be Gus Van Sant remaking Psycho shot for shot, which was ridiculous. Nobody in their right mind would want to do something like that. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And I think it's commendable on some level that Robert Eggers even bothered to take that on. I feel like he must have felt like he had something to say with this film. And I think to some extent he does say it. Does the film really justify itself? I think that might be an open question. I will say I did enjoy it. I liked it. I thought it was good overall. I enjoyed Lily Rose Depp's performance a lot more than I thought I would, given who she is, right? She's never gonna... it's hard to divorce her from the inherent nepotism of being a Deb, right? But she does an admirable job with very difficult material. I was impressed because the role that she took on in this film is a lot. It's a lot, and it would be a lot for any actress, let alone someone who again has to sort of deal with the accusations of nepotism, and she pulled it off very well. I was impressed. I also really enjoyed Willem Dafoe. I enjoy Willem Dafoe in everything he does. If anything, I thought he could have been even more unhinged, and I would have been okay with that. Though he is still pretty unhinged in moments, and I liked that a lot about him in this film. I like Willem Dafoe best when he's allowed to be a little bit unhinged. Let's put it that way. I enjoyed Nicholas Hoult, again, another actor that I really just like watching him do things. I do think it's funny that he's now been terrorized by two different versions of Dracula in two very, very different films. But it's good. He's a good actor. He's good in whatever role he takes on, whether it's the ridiculous like Renfield or this one, which is much more sort of serious and down to earth. But it's you know, a good showcase for him. And I have to admit, I did really appreciate Bill Skarsgård's performance. I think that he brought something to the role that was new and did work for me. And I think visually, they did a really good job with Count Orlok. I really liked the fact that they kept the iconic silhouette of Orlok, but still made him different and made him creepy in a more contemporary way. Also, I do appreciate that Count Orlok / Count Dracula finally got the book-accurate mustache that he truly deserves. If you've read Dracula, you know that's like one of his distinguishing features in the book, and almost no adaptation has ever given him the proper mustache. And this one finally did, and I appreciate that. So that's all quite good. I think Robert Eggers has a very good eye. Many of the shots in this film are beautiful. I appreciate his visual style. I appreciate his knowledge of and homage to German Expressionism while still making it his own and doing something new. I think visually he definitely does bring some new things to Nosferatu. As for the themes and the story, I've been kind of going back and forth on this as I've been thinking about this film in the week or so since I watched it. And I do think he does somewhat to sort of update the themes of bodily autonomy, of gender, of sexuality, and the erotic versus the grotesque. I think he does do, in some ways, an admirable job of updating that for a contemporary audience. I think that the Gothic vibes are really good. I think Eggers has a good Gothic sensibility that serves him very well in this film. So I think on the whole, I liked it. I don't know how much I loved it, if I loved it, but I did like it. It was good. Was it great? Was it the most amazing thing I've ever seen? Probably not. Again, I think it's hard to judge when there are just so many adaptations of this story out there. And some of them I've seen many times and really, really like. And it's hard to live up to that, I think, for me personally. I will say, if you are not already familiar with Nosferatu, or if you haven't seen very many Dracula adaptations, this is probably a good one. You'll probably have a good time with it, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm maybe a little bit too in the weeds to be like, oh yes, this is the best one ever. But it is good. It is enjoyable. I had a good time. The last shot of the film is gorgeous. One of the best final shots of a film that I've seen in a number of years. The death and the maiden motif is a strong one in art history, and Robert Eggers milks it for all it's worth in this film, particularly the end. It's good. So yeah, overall I would say I liked it. I didn't love it. It's not personally for me like an instant new classic or anything. I think Robert Eggers is a solid director with a solid grasp of what he wants and a good visual style that is all his own. And I think that serves him well. And yeah, it's a good creepy Halloween movie. Is it like my favorite Dracula or my favorite Nosferatu? Probably not. That is my take on Nosferatu 2024, directed by Robert Eggers. If you've seen this film, if you have opinions on it, want to yell at me in the comments, probably don't yell at me in the comments, but you can go ahead and leave a comment below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!